Welcome to this episode of the Little Beaver Historical Society's podcast. I'm your host, Dave Holoweiko. With me today is Karen Myers of the Fred Rogers Center, located on the campus of Saint Vincent College. How did the Fred Rogers Center come to be, Karen?
Latrobe is actually Fred Rogers' childhood neighborhood, so he grew up here right in the heart of Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and of course has strong ties to St. Vincent because we were right in his backyard growing up, but he had a wonderful friendship with our Archabbot and Chancellor, Douglas Nowicki, and actually Archabbot Douglas studied child development. He has a PhD in child psychology and worked with Fred on some episodes of The Neighborhood, so they struck up a lifelong friendship. And when it came time for Fred to think about what he wanted to do with his legacy beyond The Neighborhood, Archabbot Douglas was the first one to say, "Why don't you come back to your original neighborhood?"
There's a large collection of Fred's artifacts from his show and various other things. If somebody comes to St. Vincent's, can they see of Fred's history?
Well, we have a public exhibit here, which is chronologically ordered, taking you from Fred's life growing up here in Latrobe to the visioning of the Fred Rogers Center. We have the original trolley. We have Daniel's clock, a lot of the original puppets. We have some of Fred's compositions. It's really a wonderful collection that's been curated over the years. And so we have a lot of that here in the Fred Rogers archive. So right now we have over 18,000 items, and we do occasionally grant behind-the-scenes tours. So if people are interested, they can always contact us.
What I find interesting about Fred is he brought up topics on his show that nobody else was approaching for children. And this one I remember because I was older at the time, but my nephew was watching. It was the first time he had a child on in a wheelchair. And nobody, at that era in life, you sort of looked away from children. Here's Fred bringing out this child in a wheelchair and proving that he's just another human being.
It was just a tremendous opportunity to show how we're different, but we're all very much alike.
Karen, I want to thank you for coming on board the podcast. I've learned some interesting things, and I think anything that anybody can learn about Fred Rogers is good to learn. Fred was a good person.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and we couldn't be more grateful for you to bring this out to your audience and share in all the wonderful things that Fred Rogers represents. So thank you.